The struggle of the streets. Jackson was born and raised in a small, dilapidated neighborhood on the outskirts of the city. His mother worked 2 jobs to keep food on the table, and his father left when he was too young to remember. Life wasn't easy. Jackson often found himself wandering the streets, observing the world from his corner of the world. But it was in those streets where he learned his first lessons about survival. One afternoon, at the age of 14, Jackson had an epiphany. He noticed the constant flow of people rushing to get somewhere, buying little things along the way, snacks, drinks, and phone chargers. He asked himself, why can't I do that? Why can't I sell something to these people? By the time he was 16, Jackson started small. His first business was selling bottled water, snacks, and cheap phone accessories outside the bus station. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave him a sense of purpose. The first day, he barely sold anything, the second, a little more. And by the third, he learned how to read people's needs. He had found his niche: convenience. Jackson's resilience was tested daily. He faced countless rejections from people who didn't need what he was selling. But he also learned to negotiate with local vendors for better prices and how to make the most of the few dollars he had. The breakthrough moment came on a rainy day. Jackson was setting up his cart near a busy intersection when a man in a sharp suit walked past, clearly frustrated. As the rain poured down, the man didn't have an umbrella, and he grumbled about how the weather was ruining his day. Jackson's instincts kicked in, and he quickly ran to his cart and grabbed the last umbrella he had left. "Excuse me, sir. I've got a great umbrella here, and I'll make sure you don't get soaked," Jackson said, his voice steady despite his nerves. The man looked skeptical, but the rain was getting heavier. He reluctantly bought the umbrella, and Jackson made a small profit. "Thank you," the man said, adjusting his collar. "This is just what I needed." Before walking away, the man paused and handed Jackson a business card. "You've got a good instinct, kid. I'm James, and I work for a big logistics firm. If you keep hustling, I'm sure you'll build something bigger." The encounter seemed almost too coincidental, but Jackson didn't let the opportunity slip. Over the next few days, he thought about that moment constantly. One evening, he decided to take a leap of faith and called the number on the card. To his surprise, James agreed to meet. Over coffee, James explained how his company worked with suppliers and retail networks, helping small businesses scale by offering resources like bulk product purchasing and distribution networks. He saw potential in Jackson's hustle. "You've got the drive," James said, "and I've got the contacts. I think we could do something here." With that, Jackson was introduced to a whole new world of business, the world that existed far beyond his street cart. He felt a mix of excitement and fear, but there was no turning back now. Jackson had now gained access to better resources. He faced his biggest challenge: money. While the business connections opened up doors, he still had to come up with capital to invest in larger quantities of product. His savings were minimal, and he didn't have any credit or collateral to secure a loan. His first attempt was to get a loan from the bank, but without a credit history, he was rejected. His second attempt was even more discouraging, trying to get funding from venture capitalists who showed little interest in his small-scale operations. For weeks, Jackson hit dead end after dead end, but instead of feeling defeated, he doubled down. Jackson sought help from a local nonprofit organization offering small business grants to entrepreneurs in underserved areas. His application was one of many, but he poured his heart into the proposal, outlining his vision, his hustle, and his potential. Months later, he received the call. He was awarded a grant. The news was overwhelming. Jackson now had the resources to buy products in bulk and build an online presence. He didn't waste any time. He started working with suppliers to bring in larger orders of snacks, tech gadgets, and accessories, and he launched his very first website, which quickly began gaining traction. PT1.